There was a small, quiet coastal town where evenings looked more tired than peaceful. The sea seemed to carry shadows instead of sparkles. The sky dimmed too early, and people often said the sunsets used to be brighter long ago, before worries, illness, and loneliness settled over the town like a permanent fog. In the middle of this fading world lived Leo, a 12-year-old boy who barely spoke, not out of fear, but because it felt like no one really heard him anymore. His father worked far away, his mother spent most days resting due to illness, and Leo carried a soft sadness in his chest that no one ever noticed. Every day after school, he walked alone along the shoreline, collecting seashells, kicking pebbles, and wondering why the sky no longer painted the colors he saw in old photographs. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, hope, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Story. Your support keeps stories like this alive. One chilly evening, Leo walked further than he ever had. The wind was sharp, the waves restless, and the world seemed unusually quiet. As he approached a distant curve in the coastline, he noticed an elderly man sitting on a rock near the water's edge. His clothes were worn, his beard silver and untrimmed, and his eyes carried the storms of many years. At his feet rested a small wooden box filled with shimmering shards of broken glass. Leo paused, unsure whether to approach, but the calm, gentle presence of the old man felt strangely familiar, like a warmth he had forgotten. Without speaking, Leo sat on a nearby stone, watching the man lift a small glass shard toward the fading horizon. The weak daylight passed through the glass, scattering into soft golden rays across the sand. For the first time in months, Leo witnessed a flicker of color in the sunset, and something in his heart stirred. Day after day, Leo returned to that same spot. Each evening, he and the old man sat quietly side by side, holding up the broken glass pieces and letting whatever little sunlight remained bend through them into faint hues of gold and pink. There were no dramatic conversations, no explanations about who the man was or where he came from. Yet the silence between them felt warm, like a blanket passed from one heart to another. Slowly, Leo began to feel a sense of belonging that he had long been missing. And strangely, the sunsets began to grow softer and brighter, as if responding to their quiet ritual of shared light. But one evening, the old man did not appear. Leo waited until the sky turned dark and the cold wind wrapped around him like a warning. The next day, he asked the villagers if anyone knew the old man who sat by the rocks. No one did. A few elders mentioned a man with a similar description who once repaired windows and made lanterns for children, but he had passed away several years earlier. Confused and unsettled, Leo walked back to the shoreline with heavy steps. When he reached the old man's rock, he found the wooden box placed neatly in front of it, filled with the same shimmering shards. On top of the box rested a small note written in careful handwriting. Every kindness you share becomes someone's sunset. Before the story comes to an end, please leave a comment telling what this moment made you feel. Even a single word matters. In the days that followed, the sunsets around the coastal town grew warmer, brighter, and far more beautiful than they had been in years. People began standing outside their homes in the evenings again just to watch the sky glow. Leo continued visiting the shoreline every day, holding up the glass pieces exactly as the old man had done, believing with all his heart that kindness, silent, quiet, unnoticed kindness, had the power to brighten even the dimmest horizons. The town slowly began to change, not because the sky had suddenly learned new colors, but because a lonely boy had learned to reflect the light the world had forgotten. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Story. Oh, your support spreads hope to someone who might need it today.